Hello YouTube, Proxy here, and Bluehole's new game, previously known as Project W, has finally been announced. Its name, Ascent Infinite Realm. So what is this game? Well, Ascent Infinite Realm, or the abbreviated name AIR, is Bluehole's brand new MMORPG venture. Bluehole was responsible for such games as Terror Online and the very famously loved PUBG. The game is Korean by design, and the world is filled with magitech or steampunk-like devices such as airships alongside magic and dragons.
Oh my god, Proxy, did you say dragons?
Jeez, yes, I said dragons, calm down.
I like dragons.
Yeah, so anyway, I guess the first things first, the trailer looks freaking amazing. Honestly, the best looking Korean game I've seen in a while since, well, Black Desert Online, I guess. But just like the BDO trailers, there's definitely some recording and FPS issues going on. But it's nice they're showing real gameplay, and there is going to be some optimization issues as the game is still in development. Speaking of Black Desert Online, there's some speculation that the game is created on the Black Desert engine as the game is being published by Kakao. However, according to some journalism sources, it's actually being crafted on the Unreal 3 engine. If so, it begs some questions as to which engine this game is actually using, but hopefully some more concrete details appear on this soon. Either way, graphically the game looks beautiful, but some of you out there might be like, but Proxy, can my PC run this? Well, fortunately we do have some system specs to go on. To run the game on the bare minimum settings, you will need i3 or equivalent processor, 8GB of RAM, a GTX 670 or equivalent graphics card, Windows 7 64-bit edition, and 40GB of hard drive space. However, the recommended setup is a i5 or equivalent processor, 16GB of RAM, a GTX 970 or equivalent graphics card, Windows 10 64-bit edition, and a 40GB hard drive space again. So cool beans, the system requirements aren't too high. Most people might just need a new graphics card, which by the time this game releases in, well, whenever it releases, you will most likely have one by then. I also find it interesting that the system requirements are very similar to what's required for an Unreal 4 game rather than an Unreal 3 game. Whether that's an indication of what they are using as technology, who knows. But enough about the system. What classes can you play in this magitech steampunk MMO of aviation? Well, you have the Sorceress, master of the arcane arts. With her keen senses and innate gift for sorcery, the Sorceress commands an arsenal of elemental magic. Although she lacks full defense of other classes, she more than compensates for this by obliterating enemies from afar. The main weapon of choice for this class is a staff, and the secondary weapon is an antheme, which for those of you that don't know is a ceremonial blade or dagger, so basically a staff and dagger. Next up we have the Mystic, nature's blessing incarnate. Behind her childlike appearance, a mystic commands the powers of nature. Mystics aid their allies through healing magic while chastising attackers from afar. Do not let their misleading appearance fool you into thinking otherwise. Mystics are very formidable. The Mystic's weapon of choice is a fancy pants wand, and for those that have good shaman memories from the other MMOs, might be happy with the fact that Mystic's secondary weapons are totems, haipu. The next class in the list is the Warlord. The Warlord needs no elaborate words to describe himself, his battle prowess speaks for itself. Endowed with superior physique, the Warlord wields gigantic weapons at the front line to protect his allies and claim glorious victory in battle. The Warlord comes armed with a warhammer and a secondary weapon as a shield. Is it DPS? Is it a tank? Who knows? Following this we have the Assassin, a cruel kiss of death. A whisper in the dark and a flash of steel, the only signs of an assassin. These purveyors of death offer little in the way of remorse, and lethal damage is their forte. Should you be unfortunate enough to find yourself on the wrong side of their blades, prepare your last words. And assassins are pretty much dual wielders of daggers, and that's pretty much what you would expect really. And of course, what kind of steampunk game would it be without the Gunslinger? A battle-hardened marksman. Gunslingers have an unflinching resolve to treat the battlefield like a playground. Whether it is landing an impossible shot or unleashing a volley of powerful blasts, a gunslinger will always shape the battle in their favour. Be careful to never cross one or you will be surprised. The gunslinger comes with a pistol as the main weapon of choice and rifle being the secondary option. What classes do I like the most? Well, I got to say both the Warlord and the gunslinger look interesting, but I can't say any of these classes aren't anything that I haven't seen before. But that's okay, because maybe they'll have some form of interesting progression routes to go down. But I know a lot of you will be glad to hear that there is no gender locking. Unlike other games such as, well, Black Desert Online, where classes are bizarrely gender locked, this game will suffer from no such issue, which I know is great news for a lot of you out there. The customization of characters will be important too, not just the look of the character. Apparently the abilities of the character can be altered as well, though I haven't found a 100% confirmed source for this. Customization will include things from skills, abilities, equipment, and animations. But Proxy, what's the main focus of the game? Well, at its core, Air will be a realm versus realm game, much like Dark Ages of Camelot or Aeon, with a heavy focus on airships and aerial combat, adding that extra dimension to the MMO combat style. And what's interesting about the game's realm versus realm combat is each side will take turns either being the attacker or the defender. This means all players will get to experience each roles within wars. And according to Bluehole, this will give the experience of a sporting event. Whatever that means. Not sure any large-scale PvP game will ever be considered an esport, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they can. Apparently the PvP will be heavily strategic and require clever use of various elements and tools of the battleground, from jetpacks, gliders, cannons, landmines, and various buffs. Battles will not only take place in the air, even though it's kind of the main feature, but also on the ground as well. The game is a realm versus realm game at its core. Life skills are not ignored though. You can play house, manage a farm, breed and raise pets and mounts, including monsters which can be pets and mounts. Mounts and transports will also come in other forms such as animal mounts, bike-type vehicles, jetpacks, wingsuits and some other weird ground mount and mechs. Yes, mechs. And on top of this, players will be able to customize and build their very own airships, which is a pretty awesome feature I must say. Different aspects from size, type, colour, stats and performance. There's also some PvE elements that will allow you to create quests and adjust the difficulty of hunting grounds, as well as some casual, relaxing mini-games to play. And you can also just explore the world and discover some hidden secrets. So yeah, there's going to be a fair bit of content, but the game will definitely be a realm versus realm and PvP at its core design, which I approve of. Now a lot of you often ask this, but how big is the world? Well, we don't have a specific size, but we do have a world map, and it's pretty unique in design. The landmass is essentially limited and a lot of shattered floating islands and what seems to be old sunken realms in the ocean. The Google translated name of this world appears to be Hass, though that's an extremely poor translation. We also have close-ups on the regions of the map as follows, so take a gander. And all of this was discovered by forum user Maevynn, so big shout out goes to him. So yeah, the game sounds like it could be fun, but what about the release date? What about business model? How much of the game is complete? Well, I've got some of those answers to those questions. The game is about 60% complete at this time. There isn't a set release date. Some people are speculating completion will be around the end of 2018. Nothing is confirmed though. In terms of the game's business model, well, they are still discussing it. Now, the game is being made by Bluehole and is being published by Kakao, and these companies are known to monetize their MMORPGs in some regard. And we also have a familiar face on the scene, project manager Jouska. And you might remember this guy from Black Desert Online. Hell, maybe he'll remember me from BDO forums as I was very active on there prior to release. But to make a long story short, it'll be quite hard to tell which direction this game's monetization will be going in. But there's definitely a solid chance it could go in the same direction as Black Desert Online. Though ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see what it ends up being. What would you guys prefer to see this game's direction going? Subscription, free to play, buy to play, something else? Let me know in the comments below. So what are my thoughts on this game currently? Well, while I enjoyed realm versus realm games in the past, such as Dark Ages of Camelot, Warhammer Online, very rarely do they ever address the issues with imbalanced sides, lack of meaningful PvP objectives, as well as castles that never really hold any importance or values other than just being a capture point. And the fact you usually can't attack any players on the same realm as you, forcing you to be in a friendship you might not want to be in, kinda sucks. Air, as a new game, does at least try to shake up the RVR formula by placing realms into attacker and defender roles which alternate. How effective this will be, I don't know, but at least they are doing something different with the RVR systems that we have become accustomed to. I also really like the steampunk theme. There really isn't enough steampunk games out there, in my opinion, so it's a very welcome surprise to see Project W was in fact a steampunk themed game in the making. And for those that love Aeon, might get some very pleasant nostalgia vibes from the aerial based combat, and there's definitely a fan base for that. And with the MMO scene being as dried up as it is currently, the game is definitely a breath of fresh air in an MMO RPG desert. And finally, you might be wondering if you could join some kind of closed beta testing. While there is currently no testing sign up, you can sign up for the newsletter via the main website, which should inform you of when any potential closed beta tests might begin. There is some suggestion that we might see a testing phase as close as Q1 2018, but nothing is confirmed. So yeah, that's just some of the information we have on the game right now. I'll probably be following this game almost as much as I follow Ashes of Creation. So if you want to hear more information on this game, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always guys, thank you for watching.